So in this video, we'll be looking into object restructuring in a more detailed manner. So recently, I came across this problem there where my API was like very nested in behavior. Uh, you might get some data that can be that might be present in nested objects, or maybe objects inside array, or maybe anything. It can be like maybe 10 objects nested together, one inside, one inside, one inside another. So usually what people do is writing a dot method, and it actually makes your code a little bit, you can say, longer, and that is not a, handy way to handle that data, right? So I'll be walking you through an example today. This is my initial state. So for example, this might be an API response, and this might be maybe an initial state to your redux. So it can be anything. You can come across this in multiple times. So you will be doing like the initial state dot data dot token dot auth dot country dot place dot state, right? So this is not a good way. We'll look into how we can, use ES successors to solve this problem. So for example, our goal is to change the state, okay? And the state and the data strip. So what I will do is, so first of all, before starting, there is a hack, not a hack actually, but it is recommended to actually comment out this thing. So during working with the VS Code or maybe any code editor, you will get these errors. Errors. So for example, it might be an object. So you can comment out this place object, then country object, then auth object, and then data object. So you will it actually helps you a lot to debug, because some of the time what you will think like error is actually inside the auth object, but it is not, right? So it actually behaves like a debugger as such. So let's comment out the data. So what I can do is maybe store the new state in another variable. Okay. So const state, const new state. So it will be an object, updated object basically. And what I will do is I will just spread the initial state. Now my initial yeah. So I think let me copy this so that it doesn't get sometimes it comes wrong. So I've spread the initial state. So inside the initial state, I have loading and data. So what I will do is I will not touch the loading because I don't have to do anything with the loading. But if you have to do something with the loading, then you can just simply write loading. So let me write the loading as well. So loading, maybe you want to make it true. So loading is true. Now that data you have to destructure data as well, right? Because everything that we need is inside the data. So what I will do is data dot, it will give me now what I'm doing is, now data is actually behaving like an array. Like a variable, the temporary variable. So if I open this data, now data has token auth and error, right? So what I will do is I won't touch the token as well. I don't have to do anything with the error. I will just simply write auth in now data. Now auth is another object, right? So what I will do is dot, and I will just, now my auth is again behaving like a maybe a temporary web variable. So now here the token, I don't have to do anything with the token. So I'll just delete the token. And what I will do is I have to do something with the auth. Auth is another object. So inside that, now I have country as well as is authenticated. I don't have to do anything with the is authenticated. Authenticated. Now what I will just do is I just make this country, and my country is in another object, so I have to store it in a new variable. And inside the country, I have place. So now what I will do is place, and now inside place there is another object. I'll just make another object, store my variable inside the place. Now the state and district are inside the object, right? The place of it. So I don't do a state, maybe, you know, maybe we go like district district as maybe okay. So now if I can my maybe state it should not show. Yeah. So now you would say that actually my state is object, I mean updated, but you can't say it because the object. Here comes the actually the concept of reading the object. So what in this state, I am spreading my state, I am just updating the state, right? But let's say, for example, I want to read the state. I mean, so in some code editors, you will see like the object that it is object and object inside object, there is a nested object as such. But for example, I want to read the values. So what I will do is just do this and equal to initial state. There's my new state, right? I want to read the values of state as well as district from my new state. So what I will do is I don't have to do anything with the I just have to write data and then auth and then country and place place and then place and then inside that it will be state and district. The spellings are data country place and then inside the place I have inside the place I have state and district. Let's see it is giving me this. So if I do console log now I want my state and I want district. Yeah, and if I comment on this thing, yeah, I'm getting the value, right? This is Meghalaya and Shillong because this is the updated web value. So to update the value, you have to spread that and then update the actual value, whatever you need. But to read the value, you have to do like reading. I mean, for example, I want this value from the new state, right? So I'm just going inside the new state and just getting the value. And every time you actually do this, it actually behaves like a not as a variable, but yeah, you can say as a temporary variable. Right? So you are getting the value of state and district. So for example, if you want to maybe you want state not name. So you what you want is maybe you want to maybe you want to reassign the value of state to another variable. So another, let's see if it works or not. Another variable, and if I now in place of my spellings are right. Okay, yeah. Okay. Another variable and district. So you will see that I'm getting the same value because what I've done is whatever it is inside, I'm telling JavaScript that whatever there is inside the state, just reassign that to the another variable. So this is how you can reassign the values. But I mean, usually you won't do this because it is like playing with the data. So you usually won't do this. But yeah, so yeah, this was it about the nested object and how to destructure very deep nested objects. So there can be like state inside state might be an object, and then inside that there might be 5 objects more. So how will you maybe update that, right? So that it becomes a hectic thing. So maybe you might be if you're working with the Redux, then you will get maybe payload. So in case of this state, I want maybe payload, right? So for example, it might be data, and this might be an empty. So this might be an initial state. Inside the data, you want to update this with payload. So you can just simply write that state and then update the value. So that this might be your payload, right? And if you define your payload, then it will just simply update that. So you can simply update that with this ES6 constant rather than going like dot then dot and multiple dots. So yeah, this was said about the object destructuring aspect. Thanks.